Hello everyone, welcome to the pre-match build-up. It's Manchester United versus Liverpool, a game that can absolutely ruin your year if you have a bad loss, or a game that can have you flying through the year if you do win. So let's take some of that positivity. As United fans, you can't really explain this fixture, can you? It's one of those kind of tribal victories, deep kind of hidden in our blood, and it's one that you really, really want to win, and you don't want any Liverpool fans to have any sort of bragging rights. But given the balance of where both teams are at the moment, I think the majority of United fans are expecting a little bit of a slapping, and that's probably the understatement of the season. I know most fans have already written this season off. I know we've got a million problems at the club. It's cold, it's snowing, there's financial cuts left, right and centre. Transfers are going to be tough. We've got ongoing situations with current players like Marcus Rashford and Garnacho. We've got a new manager tackling old problems. But I'm here to tell you, people, that we can defy the odds again. We can defy the odds again. People have written us off many times before the FA Cup final, in the quarter-final against Liverpool. It's happened. It's happened. Stranger things have happened in football. So we're not going to start off this show. Well, I'm certainly not going to start this show off with negativity. The lads might bring it down a little bit. But all I'm asking for today, people, is some fucking application, some fight, and some spirit. That's all I want to see today. If the quality's poor, it's because the shit players, let's face it. But I want to see some fight, some courage, and some entertainment. That is what I want to start the message off first and foremost. So let's see if this is the team to do it, lads, and we'll go through it together, okay? So we've got Andre Onana in net. We've got Matthias de Ligt, Maguire, and Martinez as your back three. We've got Mazraoui at wing back, Manu and Ugarte in the middle of the park, Diego Dallo at left wing back, Ahmad, Højlund, and Bruno Fernandes as your front three. Shreyas, talk to me, brother.
Yeah, that squad is going to win us the Europa League this season for sure. Look, there are a lot of warning signs in that team. I wouldn't mince my words. I really want us to beat Liverpool at Anfield. And if I'm being completely honest, I want it to be a game where Liverpool are completely dominating us and we get one penalty at the final mark and Bruno just scores it. We get off with the 1-0. But it's going to be very difficult. I think the setup that he has gone with, this is probably his best team that he can assemble with the players that he's got. Probably one of his best team. I think the most that he can do is probably just chuck Euro on instead of Martinez. But apart from that, I think this is the best that we can wish for this season. And if we want to get any results, I think at least 9 of these 11 players are going to be in that team if we want to get the best results. So I think the worry signs for me are the wing backs, because they really need to be switched on. Whether it's defensively, whether it's attacking wise, they need to be switched on. Bruno and Ugarte, I'm very happy that they're back into the team. We could see how much we miss Ugarte in that midfield when he is not present, and when he's there, he's very consistent. He knows how to win those balls back, and he knows how to spread the ball around in order to ease off pressure. And off the ball as well, I think him and Menu form a very good pair. So I think midfield, I'm okay with. Wing backs are a concern. I think centre backs is, apart from Euro being in, I think this is perhaps what most United fans would have gone for. I think de Ligt needs to be there. Maguire has been decent for us as that centerpiece, and it's only a toss-up between Martinez and Euro at the moment.
I would have personally gone with Euro in that back three.
I would have as well, but I think
pace.
I understand that, but I think the only reason, I think he's trying to protect him a bit as well, because youngster coming back from injury has been given minutes here and there, and coming at Anfield can be a bit much for a youngster who's just come into the team while the team is actually performing quite poorly. So I can understand that a bit. Attack, I hope Bruno is switched on. I hope he doesn't really cause much issues. Ahmad has to be in there. He's undroppable at the moment, and I think in this game I would have gone with Højlund as well instead of Xerxes. I think the last game that Xerxes had against Liverpool completely crushed his confidence. So I think Højlund is the right person to go for.
Yeah, I agree with that. Dan, you was on the preview with myself, Adam, and Sam. What changes did you want to make? I can't remember the starting 11 that you went with, but what's disappointed you about that team, if anything?
Actually, it's almost the same as I predicted, but only difference was I think Maguire in case of Euro.
Did you go Maz?
No, Maguire.
Oh, right, okay.
But for wing back, I just predicted the one which Amorim will go with. So in that I mentioned all these. I mean, 10 out of 11 are correct, but I expected Euro will start because we need that pace in the defense. You know that like Liverpool, you will be on your toes. You need to be on your toes when you're defending against the likes of Salah, and then Nunes also is pacey player, and Diaz, and these players will be, I mean, running around a lot, and we need players like Euro with good pace. Euro just reminds me of the initial career of Rafael Varane when he came to Real Madrid, and he was making tackles and confident tackles. So the one we saw in the previous games when Euro made a penalty, our own penalty box. So those kind of scenarios will come again in this game a lot of time, and we cannot depend on Maguire. But on the other side, Maguire has proved himself in the recent times, and he has lived up to the expectations, and he has been kind of one of the better defenders that we had, and he has proven that in the last few games, and that's why I think his previous games has helped him to get his place in this game as well. So, but apart from that, I would like to see Ahmad on the wing back side rather than playing as the attacking winger. I would like to see that, because that will give an extra attacking play in the front, and you know that Ahmad is going to defend a lot as well, help on in the defense. But gives bit of confidence to see Ugarte and Maino starting in the middle, and with Bruno also there.
Yeah.
So you know that our midfield have the legs in them, so it will help us at not like the previous game with Casemiro and Eriksen. So, but yeah, I can foresee Dalot having a very tough time in this game with against Salah, and so that's the only concern for me at this moment on the left side, where Salah will be facing Salah.
I think the concern from the majority of United fans is probably that left-hand side. Martinez and Dalot just do not fill me with confidence at all, especially when obviously we know Salah operates in that kind of situation. You know Trent can take advantage of it sometimes, and you've got, I'm guessing, someone like a Szoboszlai or Curtis Jones who's going to be in there, who are great runners as well. So that triangle there, I'm looking at it, I'm like, that the areas where we can get hit the most is in those areas where Trent operates. That's what I'm worried about. But I look at that team, Shreyas, and I'm like, how on earth are we 14th? That's not a 14th level team. It's weird. I don't get it.
I think you look at the quality of the team. You look at the players that you've got in that team at your disposal as well. I'm not saying that this team is ready to, like lift the Premier League, but it should at least be in the top 6. Or top 7, at least be around the 6th or 7th positions.
Table would be nice, wouldn't it?
Exactly. I mean, being completely honest, you've got players in that backline who are very good. You've got Mazraoui, who's been perhaps one of the best signings of the season. You've got the likes of De Ligt, who's been very, very good for you. Maguire has looked very decent. Martinez and Dalot have surely been off, but as a whole, there's been mostly, I would give that defense a 7.5 on majority of the players who played there in this season. You look at that midfield as well. Ugarte and Maino have been good as a pair. They've genuinely been good. I think they complement each other really well. And if you look at the other players who can come on there, like Ugarte and Casemiro, when both of them played together, Ugarte and Casemiro look good for quite a bit.
I think Mainu and Ugarte have been better than Casemiro and Eriksen for sure, but I still think Mainu is finding his feet a little bit in this formation. Whereas
in this
Ugarte
new formation
has already played under Amarin, so Ugarte is already there for me personally.
Yeah, because Ugarte doesn't need to readapt his play style. Mainu really needs to, because he's more accustomed to actually bombing forward whenever we used to get on the ball. Right now, his positional awareness can be a bit off at times, but I think it will come with time. He's very young, and on the ball, I think on the ball he's looked much better than he did during the start of the season.
Years old, by the way. So
yeah,
we need to remember, like 19, 20
exactly.
Is what we need to remember.
Yeah, I think the major concern that we've got at the moment is the lack of goals. It's the lack of fluidity in the attack. I think apart from that, I think defense we've still been. I'm not saying it's been terrific. There genuinely have been issues with Lisandro Martinez and Dalot on that left-hand channel, but it's still been okayish if I compare it to the attack, because the attack just looks completely disconnected. Whether it's Højlund playing there, whether it's Xerxes playing there, and this is a situation where Bruno and Ahmad have actually had some very sharp stints or sharp performances in their channels. Ahmad has looked very good in as that advanced 10, or whether you even have to call his performances as a wing back. He's looked decent in that position as well. Bruno as well. I think in the Bournemouth game, both Bruno and Ahmad could have gotten goals and assists. They were very wasteful with their chances. And Hoyland, I think he really needs to step up. I think I do understand that he's young. Same goes with Zuxi as well. But we need an outlet for goals. The more it drags on, the more pressure there is going to be on the team, because I think sometimes the overall team isn't that bad, but because of certain issues that are present in the team looks a lot worse.
Yeah. I mean, we've got plenty to discuss. Dan, I'm going to come to you shortly. It's just quite a few comments I want to go through. Ray and 8 is saying, I have no clue why Dallo and Martinez have been trusted again, praying for a New Year miracle, but can only see this heading one way. So many comments. UTFR says, Bruno needs to be extremely disciplined. He needs to drop deep and make the 4 a 5 in midfield. I think he'll be doing that for the majority of the game. The way Liverpool play, the way the crowd get on your back, I think he'll have a big job today. Hi lads, does anyone know when the last time we scored a goal with those two at wing back? We haven't, like Sam said, yet. We haven't at all. So that's, I don't know. But he's gone with them for pragmatism, clearly. Like, he's done this to play, it's going to be more of a back 5 than it will be bombing forward. But when we get the opportunities, like Jamie Carragher did the analysis on Monday Night Football, for them to bomb forward, they need to do it. They need to capitalise on those opportunities, which is kind of what you was alluding to before, wasn't it, Dan, about Ahmad maybe potentially moving there, or just finding your best players in the best areas. Because I'm not sure that even that front three, Dan, Ahmad, Hoyland, Bruno, it might be the best on paper, but none of them play together as a collective, do they?
Yeah, to be honest, also one more thing that concerns me with that formation of the front three is that I'm not sure like who'll be playing on the left side, because you know that Ahmad will be most of the game, he'll be on the right side, Hoyland up top, and Bruno's position as per this on the papers, his position is on the left side, but most of the time you know that he will be in the midfield, so that left hand side will be totally blank. And with Dallo chasing Salah most of the game, so I think that left area will be like totally blank. You won't be expecting much of the chances created from the left side. So that's where even I am not convinced with this type of formation, or rather you can go with like a 3-4-1-2 with Bruno playing the number 10 role, and Hoyland and Ahmad playing a bit wide of role. But in that case also, we are not sure whether Ahmad is well placed to be there, because otherwise you can play Hoyland and Zugzi on the little wider striker. So I'm still not convinced with this formation with Bruno, because you are unable to place the or identify the perfect position for the Bruno in this formation. So that's why you are also sacrificing a winger in order to place Bruno in the team. So that's why even I am not convinced. But in the games against Liverpool, Manchester City, you need extra players in the midfield. So in that situation you are fine. But then again, totally left hand side is it's like an handicap game. Like we are only going to create chances from the right side. So that's why personally, if you ask me, I'm not convinced with the top the front three of Hoyland, Ahmad, and Bruno Fernandes. So Bruno Fernandes, I'm still not sure like where his position is. Ahmad and Hoyland, I'm fine with them, but I'm not sure with who will be creating chances from the left.
Yeah, it's more the makeup and the chemistry of the team, isn't it? That's like individually, it's like, they're better than what they're showing, but as a collective in this system, I think there's a lot of players. I don't like Dallo at wing back. I don't even like Mazraoui at wing back. I don't like Bruno as an inside 10 necessarily. Like, it didn't. Last time I remember him being good there. What game was it, Shreyas? You'll probably know. On that left side, and because I was saying I don't think it's quick enough, but he was like, yeah, but he was quite good, and he kept getting into space. Was it Spurs? I want to say
in the initial games, I think.
No. It must be might be Everton.
No, might it was recent. Everton. I'm sure it was Spurs, where it was 4-3 in the cup. I'm sure it was him on the left hand side, and he kept. It was because Pedro Porro kept bobbing forward, and Sarr, we weren't kind of tracking him, and Bruno kept finding space in those areas. Yeah. So in terms of intelligence with that, it's okay, but I'm looking at speed, where you need to hit Liverpool when it matters, when the are big. Because don't forget, Konate's back in the team tonight, so they are at full strength. It's not like they've got Gomez in there or Kansa or anything. It's Konate and it's Van Dijk. Maybe Robertson you can get at a little bit, who's been a little bit shit this season, but that's arguably the only weak link in that team. So the whole makeup of our team, none of us are convinced on it anyway. I'm going off on a tangent. Let me go back to the comments and we'll go back to the game. John Ahomene says, is Euro not 100%? He probably is, but I think because, like Shreyas said, the baptism of fire that you see at Anfield, we probably don't want to ruin him forever, so they're probably just keeping him on ice.
You've seen what had happened to Zuxi, what it did to Zuxi.
Yeah, exactly, and Anfield is the worst place for that.
Yeah.
Lumen saying Ugarte and Casemiro's needed. Only Ruud van Nistelrooy gave us that partnership in his 4 games. We'd never lost those games. But again, it's a different system. It's a different setup. It's not the exact same.
It's a
I won't
completely
be
different world
opposed to
altogether.
it. I won't be opposed to it because I think if you're going to put Casemiro in there, have legs around him a little bit more. Don't have Eriksen and Casemiro together. I won't be opposed to trying that. Yeah. We've also got, sorry, I'm trying to go through them all. I'd have gone with Cass and Ugarte, Ahmad right wing back, Maz left wing back, and Mainu is the other 10. I think that's a great shout as well. UTFR. Tim saying attack is the best form of defence. Adam saying I think that's the team I said. Yeah, calling Mystic Mac. And Paul Warby saying damage limitations for this game. Absolutely. And you can't blame the coach for doing that whatsoever, can you, to be fair? Dan, where's your head at in terms of feelings? Are you worried? Do you have any optimism at all? Just explain your feelings for us. How are you feeling right now?
I have only 2 positives. One is that our record against the big teams have been better than playing against the smaller teams. So that's one of the positives
Still not
with
great,
which
is
I'm
it?
going.
Yeah. Maybe
So,
just one
yeah,
win more.
Yeah, so that's where I'm bit confident. I'm not confident, maybe bit positive to see this game, and also that in India the weekend is already over. So even if we lose it, so I have other things to look out to from tomorrow. So I'm good. Even if it ruins our weekend, so there's no space for us for ruining our weekend. But positive side, I would say, I mean, the only way to win this game is like just you will definitely get 3-4 chances in the whole game. So just take your chances, because in the previous game we lost so many chances, clear chances.
Yeah.
So that there is no, area of error when it comes to when taking the chances. And we need runners. I'm not sure whether I would have liked to see Garnacho in the game. Maybe at some point we might see him. But yeah, those kind of runners we need to, because you know that Ugarte, Maino, and Bruno Fernandes, they all are well capable of playing long balls. I mean, early balls. So you need players running behind the defense, because you know that when Liverpool are controlling the game, their defense line comes a bit ahead. So you need a couple of players to make the runs in between. So that's where we have a chance.
Yeah. Where, if we're looking for any kind of advantages, Shreyas, where can we match them? Because we think about in a game, tempo, fitness, fight, strength, mental fortitude, marginal gains, all that kind of stuff. Where can we match them, if anywhere?
Bench.
I'll just go through every single department with you. Okay. Defense, they've got Trent, they've got Van Dijk, they've got Konate, and they've got Robertson. We've got De Ligt, we've got Maguire, and we've got Lisandro Martinez. How do you feel?
Individually, I get it. On paper, you're not matching them. I get it. But I'm talking about more as a collective. Any tempo, fitness, fight, can we match them anywhere at all? Or are they just better
right-hand side
than us at everything?
Our right-hand side. I think our right-hand side is perhaps the best bet that you've got, because that is perhaps the only area where Liverpool can be vulnerable on the counter. I think one area where we definitely cannot match them is the midfield, because the way they shape up their midfield and the way their players are, it's just based on instinct. They give one pass, the other two make the run, and they just know where the other player is going to be. So midfield, it's going to be very difficult to actually outmatch them. But on that right-hand flank, on the counter, if we can position Ahmad and Højlund in the correct way, because Konate and Van Dijk are very good as a partnership. And Van Dijk has been amazing this season. Konate is also very, very good, especially against, these type of wingers like Ahmad. They know how to, hold them off. So if we are just able to, be a bit more precise with our positioning, I think that right-hand side can be somewhere where we can cause troubles, but that is only going to happen like twice or thrice a game.
Yeah.
So in those 2 to 3 chances, if we don't convert, the game's done.
Yeah. They do concede goals, Dan. I know that I think they've got 13 clean sheets in 27 games, but the likes of Leicester, Forest, West Ham, Wolves, Brighton, Southampton have all scored goals against them, and multiple goals as well. So they're not absolutely perfect. If they replicate what they've done this season so far, they'll end up on 90 points. But the likelihood is, when you go into the second half, you do tend to drop points. And it's more the teams around them, I think, who are dropping points, which is why they are where they are. City been in the form that they're in, they'd probably be matching them right now, or if not above them. So there is an element there for me that I'm kind of holding on to, that you can score against. Leicester scored first against them.
Yep.
Forest beat them at Anfield. They are beatable, right?
Yeah, they're vulnerable because you've seen that in the previous, I mean, matches against the smaller teams, they have scored against them, and I mean, they have. I'll just come back to my own previous point that they have taken their chances. So whatever chances they've got, one or two
Yeah.
chances they've
Yeah.
taken them, and they
Especially
scored the
Salah.
goal. So, but
My God.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's the difference between I mean, whether you definitely any football game, whether you're playing against a small team, big team will definitely get the chances. But it's up to you, like how you take it and take them. And we have been very poor in taking those chances, and other smaller teams have taken advantages of them. Not even, I mean, I'm not even saying like the bigger teams, but even the smaller teams, the bottom half teams. Even we are in bottom half, but I'm talking about the relegation zone teams have taken their chances chances against Liverpool. So that's what makes the difference. So that's where we have to, I mean, excel in this game because we have to, and especially on the thing that whenever we receive the ball, whenever we get the ball, we have to make the runs. I mean, every player has to know has to take another step. When you see that when this is the actually basic point of this formation is that whenever your midfielders have the ball, the wingbacks have to make the runs. But we
Yeah.
are not doing that. And as even Carragher has so beautifully explained that position also. But in our team, I think the problem goes back to what we were doing in the past few seasons because our players, most of the players are well placed in that 4-4-2 system or 4-2-3-1 kind of system. So they are unable to replicate the manager's ideology into this and changing their whole system. So that's where the player, whenever they receive the ball, they are not sure whether they have to defend or they have to keep back or they have to make the run. So that's what we need to make because I'm throwing up a general question. If like marking this, I mean, Salah has to be contained by Martinez or Dallo. So
Yeah.
that's my open question. So that's where even I think even the players are confused. Like the wingers, who has to take care of them? Whether it is the center backs work or is it the wing back? So that's where even Dallo is confused because whenever we are in a good situation when Bruno has the ball or Ugarte or any striker has the ball. They don't have any support from the wings. So that's the main problem we are facing in the from the past. And this formation, I think the players are not well educated. They are not sure whether they're about their positioning. So I think that mental education is required rather than physically developing the player.
100%. There's only, it feels like Shreyas a couple of players fit into this system. Ahmad, when he's playing right centre back, I think gets
Yeah.
it. Ahmad, I think gets it. Ugarte, but then the rest of them, you kind of look and you're like, I'm not sure if they're a like for like fit. And you're seeing people from Sky today reporting that Amorim wants a big chunk of this squad wants to get rid of it. So it almost feels like he's fighting against odds at the moment, isn't he? With trying to get this system to work.
Yeah. And look, I'm not going to say that 15 players in the team cannot play the system. I think some of them can, but like Amorim mentioned it as well. When you come into a team mid-season which is accustomed to play a particular system for pretty much 5 to 6 seasons, I would say, a similar type of formation, a
Counter
similar
attack,
style.
wingers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then you move into a completely different formation, completely different profile, and when you need to make those transitions and simultaneously you're on a very bad streak of losing games and losing games very badly as well, it makes it even tougher on the players to actually make that shift. So I am prepared for a very harsh January, for a very harsh February, but I know that after a while, I think by the time the season ends, there will be a much fairer result as to how many of these players can actually be considered to play in this system and how many of them cannot. And I think when the manager says that he wants a big chunk of this team gone, I think he's completely bang on because you need technically fit players in this system. We struggle with that sort of profile. You need physically, I would say,
We don't have either. We don't have
yeah,
physically good players. We don't have technically good
exactly,
players. Somewhere in the middle, you kind of
exactly.
like,
So right now, this team needs a lot of work. And I think the moment you get, I think even 3 or 4 players into this team, it becomes a lot better. It becomes like, it genuinely becomes a team that can at least maintain its position in the top 6.
yeah.
So it's going to be harsh, but I think the manager knows what he's doing. And one thing that I do like about this manager is that he hasn't reverted to a survival sort of system where he shifts to a completely different play style. Like, I need to, see it out and go with a 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. It's pretty much simple for him. I'm going to stick to this formation. The players who can make it work stay. The players who cannot make it work go. And that's pretty much the way it should be.
Yeah, I agree.
And,
Go on.
and one more thing, I can see that like every season when we see like there's a manager change, but manager changes. So we see also that when we were playing with Ole as our manager, at that time we were playing like a counter-attacking game. And then when Eric Ten Hag came in and he was trying to impose his ideas, and we maybe I think in the preseason we were playing very good with the good passing, and every player was involved. And then later stages when we started losing more games, then we shifted into that same attacking kind of game. Now I think the same thing is happening now. Amorim is trying to, control the game and trying to. I will not deny that we are playing good football now as compared to the last season, because you can see the small passes and 1-2-3 passes kind of thing. You can see that, but I'm afraid that it should not convert into kind of a counter-attacking style of play, because we are seeing it from the last 10 years. That has become our style of play. But I hope that Amorim, when his main strength is to show something from whenever the team has the ball and play good football. So, and we are doing that in bits and pieces there, but to bring it as 100% in the team, it will take some time, and it will take some more players to come in and kind of a proper who will fit the setup. But I'm just afraid that it should not convert into that counter-attacking kind of a setup.
It's like you're trying to fix a car with a screwdriver and fucking sellotape. What he's trying to do, but he hasn't got the right tools to fix the car. You need spanners. You need, I don't know, I'm not a mechanic. You need the right kind of stuff. In other positive news, Fulham have just scored, so Ipswich have dropped points, which we're looking behind us, and they're starting to catch up to us now. So yeah, they've just equalised in like the 91st minute. Raul Jimenez again. So it's been 3 penalties in that game. 2-2 at the moment in that. But the silver lining, I was going to speak about Ipswich and a couple of the other teams around us, which sounds embarrassing to say, but we've been through the tough patch now. We was looking at December. I know we've got Arsenal after Liverpool. That's in the FA Cup though. That's separate. I'm talking directly about the league here. We've got Southampton, Brighton, Fulham, Spurs, Everton, Ipswich, right, in our next games. Now, a lot of those, I know instantly you guys are thinking, yeah, but to be fair, against Brighton, against Spurs, against Everton, we could actually lose those games against Fulham. But if you're going to build any kind of momentum and any kind of run, they're probably the games, or the majority of them are the games you want, right? And quite a few of them are at Old Trafford as well. So if we get through this and it's, if Liverpool win, let's say 2-1, but we put up a fight and, we go out of the FA Cup, it's probably expected. But it's that chunk of games, that'll be what really defines your season for me. Because if you're talking about relegation, you start losing some of them, you're actually in a relegation battle. We're in relegation form at the moment. You lose those ones that are coming up, you will find yourself scrapping it out with Wolves and Ipswich to not go down. And I mean that. Genuinely mean that. So that's the crazy thing, innit? Madness.
Yeah, it definitely is. And look, like you mentioned as well, Ipswich had at least gotten a point today. I'm not sure how the game will end, but as it stands right now,
I've got it on there.
Yeah, at least they are still getting a point right now. But I think the thing with these teams, mentioning Ipswich right now, is you can still see them playing good in games, and you can see how that team is going to play. You can see that there are genuine trouble creators in that team that not only work against some lower league teams, but they also cause issues. Like, I still remember the game against City, and they caused troubles. I remember the game against Liverpool. They caused troubles. Against us, they caused a lot of troubles. So they are a very good team. And that's been one of the issues, because while these teams have found their groove, they've found some momentum, and they've been able to carry it into games, beating teams like Chelsea, beating teams like Spurs, we have not been able to progress in that direction. And that is why, while other teams have gotten better, we are still struggling just to, find some kind of form.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned as well, in these next 5 games, I think if we don't pick points in these next 5 games, we are genuinely down there in 16th or 17th. It's not that much of a gap. Palace are just 1 point behind us.
Yeah, there's
and
a lot
Ipswich as well.
There's a lot of pundits at the minute that are kind of dismissing that, and they're like, United in a relegation, but no, you haven't watched us, mate. I've watched Bournemouth in the past couple of weeks come to Old Trafford and beat us 3-0.
Smack us.
Pretty convincingly. I know I've seen Spurs beat us recently. score 4 goals against us. They've been all over the place. Name loads. There's been loads of teams that have come to Old Trafford or we played that aren't at that level. Wolves beat us recently 2-0, and they was considered a relegation battle the other day. So that's what I'm saying. Like, people might have this kind of lapse and think, "Oh no, never. We're never going to be there." It's only you lose this game, you're talking 3 or 4 points. That is easy. We could easily lose another game after Liverpool. So these lads need to switch the fuck on, because Manchester United going down to the Championship would be absolutely fucking catastrophic for everyone involved. So that cannot happen, and you cannot allow that to happen. So I'm just hoping they show at least a little bit of fucking fight in this game. That's
at
what
least
I want
like win 2 of these games. Like at least win 2 of these games. Like Southampton, you should be winning.
Yeah, you lose that, mate.
If we lose that, then we really need to be prepared in a certain different direction, like where this season is actually going to head.
Just bring it back to the game, Dan. Go on, make your point.
So I mean, when you are, resetting this whole team. So the basic, actually, in the starting of the season, I had one basic expectation that when we go into the season and play against these teams, we should be comfortably beating these kind of Bournemouth and Wolves games are kind of winnable games, and you just get battered or against the top 4 or top 5 teams, but still you will be at the top level. I mean, somewhere around 5 or 6 you will be hovering around, because when you beat small teams and you get points, and then you struggle against the big teams or get some 1 or 2 points here and there, then still you are closer to the top 4. So that's how it should be. But we as a team have failed to win against small teams who other team go and beat them, and we just go there and just become like a Robin Hood and give some points and confidence to them. So that's the first start of this rebuild, is that we should be winning those games which are very winnable games at least.
Yeah, agree. The most important thing for me going into this, the first 10-20 minutes, you cannot let them score an early goal. You cannot let them do it. It's so important, because mentally, I know for a fucking fact, if Liverpool score within the first 10 minutes, they will crumble. They will absolutely crumble, every single one. Because we've seen it before, lads. They will do it. So I cannot stress that period of the first 20 minutes. You get through that, we can have a conversation about, picking up a scruffy draw or whatever you want to call it. Just some statistics for you here. Liverpool have just lost 1 of their past 13 Premier League games against United. They've won 7 and drawn 5. United have not won any of their previous 8 league away games at Anfield, drawn 4 and lost 4, which is their longest run since 1970. The last player to score for United at Anfield, you ready for this, was Jesse Lingard in 2018. That was the last time he scored there. Oh my God, please no. On Liverpool, this is the team they're setting up with. They've got Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk, Kanate, Robertson, Gravenberch, McAllister, and Curtis Jones in the midfield. And then they've got Salah, Diaz, and Cody Gakpo up top. A win would take them 8 points above Arsenal, with a game in hand on top of that as well, by the way. The most recent form, 4 wins, 1 draw against Fulham, 18 fucking goals scored, 6 goals conceded in that time. Salah is currently on 17 goals and 13 assists, 30 goal involvements halfway through the season. It's mental, absolutely mental. And since 2020, the Liverpool forward has netted against United 12 times in the Premier League, more than any other player. He also tops the stats for assist against United, with 6 in the top flight. This is possibly the worst time to face that front three, innit, Shreyas?
Oh, it definitely is. Luis Diaz has been amazing. Gakpo has been amazing.
Yeah.
Salah has been absolutely out of this world this season. Like, he's someone, every single game he manages to get a goal and assist. And I've seen games where Liverpool has struggled. I remember that game they recently had against Fulham, where Fulham held them to a draw 2-2. But the reason they got a draw is because Salah was in that team. And that is something that we really miss at United. That one player who, if the entire team is struggling, they can turn to and rely on, that at least, this guy can actually, coast us through this game. And Salah has been doing that for a long time this season. Liverpool, I would still say this, other teams have been poorer. Other teams have been very inconsistent. You talk about Arsenal, they are a shadow of themselves from last season. You talk about City, you talk about all these teams, they have regressed. The only thing with Liverpool has been, they've been smart in certain situation and moments, and even when things have gone bad, they've got players who manage, who have genuinely managed to coast them through. They are not this incredible or I would say, unbeatable team this season. They
Yeah.
have dropped points. They have looked vulnerable in certain situations. Other teams around them, who was, I would say, any other season, you would suppose that they'll be challenging with them, they have regressed a lot. You talk
Yeah.
about Arsenal, you talk about City, you can even talk about Chelsea from a few weeks back. They were supposed to be in a title conversation, but they've completely lost the plot in the past 3 to 4 games. So I think if United can look at it, and these players can look at it from this direction, that they're not this unbeatable team. Like I would say, Liverpool from a couple of seasons ago, they were an unbeatable team because they absolutely knew how to kill teams off the moment the game started. Right now, they're not this team. They do have some very incredible players. Even in the midfield, Davenport has been amazing. McAllister has been amazing. So they're a very good balanced side. But you pick your moments and you can, cause some troubles. You can take points off them. Other teams have done it. Forest have perhaps been the only one who've beaten them, but they did it at Anfield. Fulham have kept them to a draw. Other teams have kept them to a draw as well. So in that light, I think United should look at it from a positive, genuinely from a positive direction.
Just before we get into the score predictions and stuff, Dan, very quickly, if you can, how much credit does Arne Slot deserve? Because obviously he did inherit a really good squad, didn't he? He went quite far in all 4 competitions last season. Are you surprised how well he's done since he's come in?
Yeah, definitely, because I've not heard about him much when he came when he took over Liverpool, and at that time Liverpool was not that great in the midfield because the players were going out of the club, and that which was their main strength. The midfield was their main strength in the previous. I mean, whenever they were at the top of the league. So now when he comes in, this midfield is completely new for him, and with kind of a players with younger players to fit in the team, and now he has built something that is kind of, because after even Mane and Firmino, they have all left. So this kind of is a kind of a rebuild for them also. And now, I mean, kind of controlling the whole league, and with I think they have played 2 games less and still on top, and with 5 points clear. That in itself just shows like how good he has done with this team, and it really surprises because their substitutes bench has a lot of potential. So it's not like he's kind of a good man manager, to be honest, because to fitting in players like Gravenberch and McAllister in the midfield. So McAllister is kind of a attacking player, and kind of a 10 who plays on the 10 role, and now he's fitting inside the midfield and playing to the player's strength, and which gives extra support and play another attacking player in the midfield. So that's where we can see that how well he has managed and rebuild this team, especially because we have been struggling a lot with building up a midfield for the United, and now with a new team and with the new players, he has really done a great work where he is controlling almost all the games through that midfield. So I think all credit goes to him with the very tough times he has come in, and he's on top of the table.
Before we get into our betting slips, I'm just going to read out the last few comments, because there's a few. It's Chivy saying Ipswich winning, bad news for us. Paul saying, I refuse to let the results today ruin my Monday at work. Rayanator says, this reminds me of the 0-0 at Anfield we had last season under Ten Hag. Played awful, but Rasmus had chances for a brace. Must take any chances that come tonight. Liverpool are mentally stronger, physically stronger, and just want games more. If we concede in the first 10-20 minutes, close your curtains and end the week early. Lucky Singh saying United need Nuno Fernandes, and I've heard of Nuno Mendes. I don't know who Nuno Fernandes is. Kathara Farouk says hi, hello to you, Kathara. Does anyone know Kathara? Anyone in the chat? No? Okay. Hello, Kathara. And Marcus Rashford is still ill. So, yeah. Oh, Kirk Howcroft as well saying our left-hand side's so weak. I'm hoping for a draw today, guys. Right. Let's get into the betting slip. So, Dan, 3 or 4 things you can see happening in this game, please, and include the scoreline in that.
1 penalty, either side. I think I think we'll concede a penalty for sure. And Salah score. He will definitely score in this game.
Yeah.
Maybe a free kick.
Yeah.
And I'm just guessing this could turn out to be a draw. And so that's where I'll go with my score prediction as 2-2.
Okay.
For now, after seeing the formation 2-2, because before that, I think in the preview, I think I mentioned 3-2, somewhere around 3-2. And even in the preview, you asked me like who will be the top player for Liverpool. I mentioned Szoboszlai, and he's not in the match
Yeah.
today itself.
Yeah.
I reckon I would have mentioned Salah.
Okay. Shreyas, give me your 3 or 4 things that's going to happen, include the scoreline.
Lisandro to pick up a yellow card, Dallo to pick up a yellow card. A penalty to us at the dying moments, and hopefully no red card to Bruno. But I think that there might be a red card in this one.
Okay. 2 very strong betting slips there. And the last one I'm going to go, Kobbie Mainoo to be booked. Okay, in the midfield. He's definitely going to do a couple of fouls to get booked. I think Bruno to score or assist, Salah to score or assist, and a draw. 1-1 draw. That's what I'm going with. Okay.
Yes.
Anyone who's
1-1.
watching,
He finally scored.
Yeah, finally score. Leave your predictions in the chat. Rain8 saying Salah brace, Bruno to be booked. 3-0 win for Liverpool is my unfortunate predictions. I get it. Try and enjoy the game. If we get through the first 10, 20 minutes, there might be something on here, lads, but let's just see how it goes. Thank you to everyone who's tuning in. Sorry, it's a shorter one than usual, but I've got a load of stuff I need to go and do after this. So appreciate you, Shreyas. Appreciate you, Dan. We'll speak in the chat, and we'll have a therapy session after it, so don't worry about it. See you guys later.